Hello. Today we are reading from Sārangpur 3 of the Vachanamrut. This section is called Shravan, Manan, Nididhyās, and Sakshatkar. I know that Shravan, Manan, and Nididhyas are 3 levels of understanding, commonly found in Vedanta, one of the 6 schools of Indian philosophy, but equally applicable everywhere. Shravan refers to listening. Manan refers to a kind of intellectualizing. Sometimes it's used literally as a word meaning debate, basically asking questions, answers, clarifying details. And there's Nididhyās, which is practical realization, 3 levels of understanding. And Sakshatkar is a new word for me, so we'll find out through the context how it relates to these 3. In the evening of Shravan, Vadhi the 7th, a different kind of Shravan, Samvat 1877, which is the 30th of August, 1820, in our Julian calendar, Sriji Maharaj, an epithet for Swaminarayan, was sitting on a large decorated cot on the veranda outside the rooms of Jiva Khachar Darbar in Sārangpur. He was wearing a white case and had tied a white pag around his head. He had also covered himself with a black-bordered case. At that time, an assembly of munis, scholars, as well as devotees from various places had gathered before him. Thereupon, Swayam Prakashanand Swami asked Sriji Maharaj a question. Maharaj, suppose there is a devotee who physically performs puja of the manifest form of God, the divine source, with various types of puja implements. And suppose, also, there is another devotee who performs mansi puja of God using various imaginary implements, just with their mind. Who is the better of the 2 devotees? Sriji Maharaj replied, if a person lovingly performs puja of God with hair-raising sentiments and an emotion-filled voice, then regardless of whether they perform puja physically or perform mansi puja, both are superior. Conversely, if they perform puja mechanically, without feeling love or excitement, and without showing emotion in their voice, then regardless of whether they perform puja of the divine physically or perform mansi puja of God, both are inferior. I will add that using physical implements may make it easier, and using mental implements, well, you can take those with you everywhere you go. Easy to travel with. Then, Somla Khachor asked, by what characteristics can one recognize a devotee who, in the above manner, becomes overwhelmed with love while performing physical puja or mansi puja of the divine? Sriji Maharaj replied, such a person has intense shraddha in performing the puja of the divine and serving him, in listening to discourses and talks related to God, and in singing devotional songs. They also understand the profound glory of the divine. With each passing day, both of these 2 aspects remain ever fresh, but never diminish. Pardon me. For example, Muktanand Swami's Shraddha and understanding of God's glory are exactly the same today, and just as fresh as they were when I last saw him in Lojpur. They have not diminished in any way whatsoever. Good job, Muktanand Swami. We love to hear it. In the same manner, such a devotee should be recognized by these 2 characteristics. All of the Yadavs who stayed with Sri Krishna Bhagwan and did not have such Shraddha or understanding of God's glory, they served him just like they would serve other kings. Therefore, they did not achieve fame and are not even regarded as devotees. On the other hand, Uddhavji served Sri Krishna Bhagwan with Shraddha and an understanding of his glory, and therefore he has been described as an eminent devotee of God and has been extremely renowned in the scriptures and in the world. And I like to make a point that this term glory, I feel, might struggle to get the meaning of this sentiment across, that when we say the divine or God has glory, it's a kind of awe that you might experience, a reverence for this infinitude, this incomprehensibility of this ultimate reality. Thereafter, Nirvikharanand Swami asked, Maharaj, what is Shravan, Manan, Nididhyās, and Sakshatkar? Sriji Maharaj explained, to listen to a talk through one's ears is known as Shravan. Then, having heard the talk, to mentally ponder over the talk and to discard that part of the talk which is fit to be discarded, and to retain that part of the talk which is fit to be retained, is known as Manan. Then, having mentally retained the talk with conviction, the practice of continuously recalling the talk day and night is known as Nididhyās. Finally, when one can recall that talk exactly as it was, as if it were manifest before one with absolute clarity and spontaneity, that is known as Sakshatkar. If one engages in Shravan, Manan, and Nididhyās of the nature of the Atma, the true self, in this manner, then one will attain Sakshatkar of the Atma. Furthermore, if one engages in Shravan, Manan, and Nididhyās of God in this manner, then one will attain Sakshatkar of God. Sakshatkar cannot be attained by doing Shravan alone, just by hearing, listening alone, without practicing both Manan and Nididhyās. Had to cough quickly. If a person does not practice Manan, this pondering, and Nididhyās, following the darshan of God's form, upon witnessing this divine, upon bringing to mind the qualities in their manifest form, then even if they do darshan for thousands of years, they will not attain Sakshatkar of that form. Why? Because such darshan is like having done only Shravan, listening. On the other hand, if one had done darshan of God's entire body and had subsequently done Manan and Nididhyās of all of the parts of his body, then one would be able to easily recall those parts, even today. Conversely, one who had done only darshan of God's body would be unable to recall it, even if one attempted to recall it. Also, there are some devotees who say, we sit in meditation and try very hard to recall Maharaj's form, yet we cannot visualize even a single part. How then can we possibly envision the whole form? The reason for this is the same as above. They merely do darshan of the form, without doing Manan and Nididhyās. How then can it be visualized? After all, if one has merely seen even a worldly object with one's eyes, or merely listened to it with one's ears, and it is not subsequently mentally recalled, it will be forgotten. How then can one expect to remember the form of God, which is divine and not worldly, without doing Manan and Nididhyās? Therefore, if one continuously engages in Manan and Nididhyās, after doing darshan of God and listening to his talks, then one will attain Sakshatkar of them. Otherwise, even if one does darshan and Shravan for the rest of one's life, one still will not attain Sakshatkar. All right, that is the end of Vachanamrut Sārangpur 3. Thank you for listening.